Hello and welcome to today's video. I haven't found a good encryption video on YouTube for Unity/JSON encryption, so since I've been struggling with this, I thought I'd make a video on it to help other people out. So in this video, let me change scenes real quick. In this video, we're going to be changing left-hand side into right-hand side. We're going to do a type of encryption to prevent players from cheating in our games using JSON and a file encryption method that I got from another YouTube video. So the video I was watching is this video, and I'll link it in the description, by Pos, where he does encryption here. So the method basically returns a string, if I can blow this up. So you have a string, right? So strings are immutable, right? You cannot change the value of a string. And this guy's comment here said it pretty good. He said, since you are concatenating strings for who knows how big JSON files, it could be better to use string builder in that method, as strings are immutable. You'll be generating new string for every loop iteration, thus generating garbage. And he is absolutely right about that. We're going to dive into my code here. I've created a horrible encryptor over here, which is actually very dangerous, and I would be careful with this thing if you decide to use it. We have our encryption key here. Encryption key is like what the encryptor is going to use in order to generate that kind of key. The method that I'm using is right here. This is the ideal optimized method. So the public static method returns a string, and you enter in the string you want to convert, and it will poop out the string that you want. Either if it's encrypted, it will decrypt it. If it's decrypted, it will encrypt it. So you pass in the string you want to change. You pass in the keyword. And this is cool because you can change and use different encryption keys. So whenever you call the method, you're going to supply the encryption key, basically. This just has so much functionality that you can do with it. It's absolutely insane. The first thing that we can try is basically on the awake method. I have a TextMesh Pro object, and I'll show you that in my. So it's got all of this stuff, which is the copy of a save file. So it's basically this save file, but not all garbled up. So Black Delta, Gabe, model number, all of this stuff is down here, and when we start it, we're going to generate an encrypted version of that file. And it's going to encrypt whatever text goes in here. So I can go back to that method. It's down here, do encryption. So we'll call encrypt decrypt, which takes in the keyword and the string data, and it spits out a string using a character array. Using a character array. That's that method. We're gonna not do this. We're gonna just don't do anything on update for now. All right. So when we run this, this should take whatever text is in this little text box here, and it will encrypt it. So we see we have some kind of, I don't think it did that right. Well, it started right, and then it just gave up. Oh, TextMesh Pro probably doesn't support all of these special characters. That's probably why it doesn't work that great. So Exhibit A, TextMesh Pro does not cannot hold the special characters, which is kind of eh. All right, next exhibit is the update method. So in update, we'll do encryption, and I'll show you the difference between these two. So our two encryption methods, the one from the video that I saw earlier today, which uses a string result equals the empty string. We concatenate to that string all of the new values, but whenever you do this, it creates a new string, and so then all of the strings have to go to the garbage collector, and then it will return the result, as opposed to using a character array, which is a lot faster, and I will actually show that. On update, we do encryption using the character array method, and you will see what happens here. We'll visualize this in the profiler. So basically it goes from encrypted to unencrypted, back and forth, 60 times a second, or however high your FPS is. Okay, so you can see on the right hand side what's going on over here. Let's wait till the scene loads. We can get real numbers for processing. Alright, so we see the encryptor has one call and is producing about 3.6 kilobytes of garbage every single frame. Every single frame it's doing this because it's encrypting and decrypting all of this. Obviously, my autosave timer is every 5 minutes. Like, it doesn't need to be that efficient, but 3.6 kilobytes is, in my eyes, I think that's a lot. I think that's kind of a lot of garbage to be collecting in every single frame. This is created super inefficient on purpose. So we're going to change this to encrypt, decrypt, and we're going to use a string-based method. So our numbers were 3.6 kilobytes, right? And performance .04 ms. So 0.04 ms. And this is using char array method. Watch what happens when we use a string method. Fundamentally, it's doing the exact same thing, but one version is far more efficient than the other. All right, we have 1,800 garbage collection calls and 0.8 MB. And I was like, well, that number doesn't look as bad as the other number, right? 0.8 MB. That is actually 800 kilobytes. Now, the performance difference is only a small portion, but when the garbage collector finally kicks in, it's going to create a huge lag spike. And that's 1,800 garbage collection calls every single frame. Yeah, over here it gets really bad when everything else starts piling up. It took a whole second over here. So yeah, that's how you can do faster, more effective encryption. We're gonna go to the next exhibit. All right, so you want to use these files. A lot of tutorials don't really show implementation, like how can you actually implement this? Okay, that's a really good question. So we have a file, this file that is encrypted. So we're gonna stop doing all this inefficientness over here. I'm gonna leave all that alone. I love how that's still like keyword mode. There you go. Okay, so we're no longer doing encryption on the update. We're not doing encryption, which is just changing the text box. This one, we have a path, a string path that you set. You assign it in the inspector. The path of the file got to be JSON file for it to work. And you assign it the path, and on awake, this will encrypt or decrypt your file, whatever file it is, using the supplied keyword, which is encrypt me please, which obviously I'm not going to use that for my game. That would be stupid. So basically, we'll watch the code in action, then I'll break it down. We have this notepad here. It's a copy of this vehicle, and when we run encrypt/decrypt, so basically we're going to run this program, start, stop, it should encrypt, either encrypt or decrypt, and I have to take that a step further before I actually implement this into my game. On awake, it should see if you have a path. So if your path is not equal to empty string, then it's going to do the decryption. I spelled that wrong. Decryption, encryption complete. Okay, it worked that time. So yeah, we're supposed to get a debug log assertion to let me know that it actually succeeded in doing what it was designed to do. So if this happens, then I know for a fact that this got converted back. So the reason why it didn't work the last run, I have no idea. Let's run it again. Just to be sure, because before I implement this, it needs to be foolproof, complete, like there and back. So it looks like I've already gotten... Alright. It's encrypted again. Okay, we're good to go. Whatever reason it wasn't working before, it is now working. So yeah, basically I've programmed something here, and we'll go into the code. So this section here, this is the file stream. So this string is going to represent all the data that you load, and that's going to show up everywhere. If you don't understand this, there was a YouTube video that I watched originally to set this up, and I barely understand it myself. So it'd be hard for me to explain, but I just know that this works. So basically, if it finds the file, if the file exists, right, we're going to go in here. If it doesn't exist, we debug log failed to find file. It's pretty simple. So we find the file, read the file to this string we have here, and then we do the encryption on the data that was read from the reader. So we'll do data.toChar or I could also just alternatively send the entire string to encrypt decrypt, which would probably be smarter. So if we did data is equal to maybe encrypt decrypt file. These are spelled wrong. It's gonna drive me crazy, honestly. I fat fingered it or something. If we wanted to just leave this block out of here and, you know, have less variables, you can just change this to the, so we're gonna send the data in, we'll pass in the keyword, I don't know, was a keyword encryption key. Void to string. String data. Encrypt decrypt file. So we're already in encrypt decrypt file. Encrypt decrypt. My goodness, it's a tongue twister. Let me guess, it's also misspelled because I copied and pasted all of these. Oh no, that one's good. Oh no, no it's not. No it's not. No it's not. So this is the encrypt decrypt with the string keyword, character array, and then this is the bad version. So we don't ever want to use this because it's inefficient. If you have hundreds of JSON files, the garbage collection and the amount of lag spike you're going to get from using that is going to be insane. So basically we can set the data equal to a new string, which is an encrypted or decrypted version of what the data was read, which is the exact same as this. And we'll test it in the last part. It'll let you know it saved the new file, and basically it will overwrite the existing file, so you can mess with the file mode here, change it to whatever you need. If you want to make a new file, you can do that, or but in my game, I don't want to have so many duplicates of everything. So obviously it will just encrypt the file right there and then go straight to it. Let's go check and make sure this works. All right, so our file is, if we see where it left off, it is encrypted. So theoretically, if it works, then it should spit out a decrypted version of that. File found, decryption, encryption complete. It's good, it works. So we decrypted our file back using shorthand version. This whole system is very efficient. You can modify it however you need. Go nuts with it. There was something else I was gonna say. So how do you know if a file is encrypted and needs decryption, right? Well, I'm probably gonna do like a string check. So it looks like every JSON file starts and ends with a curly brace. So you can check to see if the data starts and ends with a curly brace, then it's not encrypted. It doesn't need encryption / decryption or whatever. So encrypt, decrypt. So the way we modify this, I have a structure file manager over here, which is kind of the same thing. It's a little bit harder to read. We'll make some spaces here. So if you wanted to, okay, we can go straight to where the warnings are. Because if I do anything in the structure file manager, it's going to take every structure that exists and go ahead and encrypt all of them, which is problematic because if the system's broken at all, even a little bit, it's going to ruin the save data for literally everybody. So there's one file that's failing to load, which is great because I can go straight to that. So in this try block, this is the vehicle file manager. If the file exists, try doing this. So it loads a data stream, data.read to end. So we need to see, okay, so we get this data, right? And this is how you, I believe I have a window up for that. Nope, I had a window up for that. It's not there anymore. This is how you turn JSON data into a game object using JSON utility. So before you do that, because that's why it's in a try catch, because if it's encrypted, it's not going to work. So before you do that, you need to check if the data that you got is encrypted or decrypted. So we're going to do data to load starts with, I've actually never actually used this before. And data to load ends with, because the chances of you have an encryption key that's so complex that when you pass it through encryption, you get a curly brace at the start and the end still, I just don't see that happening. But still, if it starts and ends with a curly brace, chances are it's not encrypted. But if it doesn't, right, add some more of these bad boys in here, invert this whole operation. We invert this operation so it doesn't start and end with a curly brace. That means it's encrypted. File is encrypted. Run the decryptor. I'm having so much trouble spelling that word. My goodness. So we'll do, it's a public static method, encrypt, decrypt, data to load is equal to encryptor.encrypt, decrypt. We don't need to encrypt, decrypt the entire file. We just need to decrypt the data. And we're going to pass in data to load with the default encryption key you can set from whatever, encrypt, encryptor dot, it's not visible. So we'll just do, this is a public constant now. Public constant. I'm gonna make it static too. Why doesn't that work? Stupid. Oh well. I should be able to access it anyways. Encryptor dot encryption key. So if we use just the default, whatever you have loaded there, that should give me a decrypted version. So obviously I got this error from the vehicle file manager because it ran into a file that was encrypted. Because it ran into a file that was encrypted, it couldn't load the vehicle. So now, if we run this, we're gonna get a different error. The different error that you get this time, since it's a copy and it has the same vehicle ID, it won't let you make duplicates. So if you copy and paste all of your files, it's going to check the IDs of each individual ones, and they have unique serial numbers every time they're created. So if you have a unique serial number, it won't let you duplicate. So this time we shouldn't get the error where it failed to load the file. We should get a different error letting us know we can't make duplicates. File found, encryption complete. That's on the Yeah, that was from the actual file encryptor in the awake method. So if we look through here, no duplicates found for this vehicle. The vehicle with the serial number that had the So pretty much what this is doing, if it's encrypted, it will decrypt it. I have like a weird loop going on right now, because on the awake method it's being encrypted or decrypted. This is kind of problematic, because I want to encrypt the file while it's not running, which is very difficult to do. Or I'm going to encrypt it. Okay, I know what I'll do. We're going to move this over here. Change the file path. It's no longer in vehicles for now. Run this, it'll encrypt it, and then we're going to throw it into the next area. I found my file, decrypted it for me, or encrypted it for me, since that's what I wanted this time. Alright, we have a bunch of bullcrap here, right? We're going to copy and paste this into the vehicles area. These two vehicles have the exact same serial number, right? Alright, let's load this. So now, and just to take it a step further to make sure nothing weird's going on, we are going to, in the encryptor, turn off this path encryptor, so it won't encrypt whatever I have in my path over here on the right hand side. So we had one ship duplicate, right? So it's telling me it found one ship duplication, and at the same time it didn't say anything about encrypting or decrypting my data, which I would have loved for it to do that. I wonder. So when we encrypt, decrypt, oh, that's why. Okay. In the file, we have file found for encryption here. Decryption, encryption complete, and that's happening. That's supposed to happen, not there, but here. Encrypt, decrypt. So when that happens, it will let me know that an encryption happened somewhere. So I guess it loaded the encrypted file. Here's the real question. This ship is the Black Delta. If we move this here, get rid of this, what should happen, so the Black Delta loads in, I don't remember where the hell I put it. Lead Archwing, Black Delta, it's there. But for some reason the thing can't find it. Alright, so we're using the Black Delta is here. It's just there are no players in the scene at the moment, so it won't render in until somebody decides to join the party. So the question is, can we load encrypted data? Theoretically should be able to. So it said I could not ship duplicate, and it still created the ship for me. So we have an encrypted save file, and we're going to try to generate data from an encrypted ship. Those words are kind of problematic, aren't they? Yeah. That's it. This ship was generated using encrypted data. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this ship was generated using encrypted data. That is amazing. And if we go back to our save file, it's still encrypted. Now the real question is, how do we save? Okay. That's something we can test. Alright, so we have our character. We want to save it. Now the real question is, it should save the file. If I save it, should be, what if I just save the world? Right now, encryption isn't actually implemented fully into the game, but it's letting me know it's saved all the data, saved all of the vehicles. So what it should do is it should save an unencrypted version of the file we just created. So now you just gotta work the encryption. Now you just gotta work the encryption into your game, and you're done. I mean, like, honestly, this is amazing. Trying to think, do I want to delve any further into this video? It's definitely long enough. Definitely long enough with all the stuff we've got going on in here. I'll probably work on this for the rest of the day. Keep messing around with it. Keep doing all kinds of crazy stuff and try to break the system, honestly. Try to break it as much as possible and see what happens if something fails here or there. Thanks for watching this video, and stay tuned for more content.